Imagine waking up one morning to hear a statement from one of the world's most talked about leaders claiming that Pakistan is the next Middle East. At first, it sounds like a bold headline designed to shock. But what if it's more than that? What if it's a glimpse into a future that's already taking shape, a vision of a country standing on the brink of transformation, holding keys that could unlock not just its own prosperity, but also reshape global trade, politics, and culture? Today, we're not just going to talk about maps, resources, or history. We're going to connect the dots between the past and the possibilities ahead. You see how a nation often underestimated is actually sitting on a strategic advantage most countries would envy, how its untapped wealth could power industries far beyond its borders, and how its culture and people could influence the very identity of a region. This is not a story of blind optimism. It's a journey through hard realities and powerful opportunities. By the end, you may not just understand why such a statement was made, you might start to see why the world cannot afford to ignore Pakistan's place in the future. So stay with me, because the road we're about to travel will open your eyes to a side of this nation you've never seen before. Pakistan's location on the world map is not just a matter of geography, it is a matter of destiny. Nestled between South Asia, Central Asia, and the Middle East, it stands at a convergence point where history, culture, and trade have intersected for centuries. From the days of the ancient Silk Road to today's modern shipping routes, this land has always been a gateway for goods, ideas, and civilizations. To the east lies the world's most populous nation, China, with its colossal manufacturing and export capacity. To the west, the oil-rich Gulf states and the emerging markets of the Middle East. To the north, the vast resources of Central Asia. And to the south, the Arabian Sea, providing access to some of the busiest maritime trade corridors in the world. This location is more than just a map advantage. It is a geoeconomic treasure. Pakistan's ports, particularly Gwadar, are positioned to become global trade hubs, connecting east and west with unmatched efficiency. Through the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, roads, railways, and pipelines are being laid to link the Chinese economy directly to the Arabian Sea, cutting shipping times and costs dramatically. For European nations looking for faster, more secure trade routes to Asia and beyond, Pakistan could be the critical junction they cannot afford to overlook. Beyond trade, this geographic positioning places Pakistan at the heart of energy politics. The world's future energy supply chains, whether oil, gas, or even green hydrogen, will require reliable transport corridors, and Pakistan is perfectly positioned to offer them. In a time when nations are competing fiercely for resource security and market access, controlling or influencing such a corridor is an enormous advantage. So the country's location also makes it a bridge for diplomacy and cultural exchange. It shares cultural heritage with the Middle East, linguistic and historical ties with Central Asia, and long-standing trade relationships with South Asia. This creates a unique potential for Pakistan to act as a mediator, connector, and facilitator in a world increasingly defined by regional alliances. However, strategic location is not automatically a blessing. It must be leveraged wisely. Many nations with valuable positions on the map have failed to turn them into prosperity, falling victim to instability or foreign control. For Pakistan, the challenge is to convert this inherited advantage into sustainable economic growth and geopolitical influence that benefits its people while serving as a vital partner to the rest of the world. Pakistan's wealth is not limited to what can be seen on the surface. It extends deep into its land and within its people. The country possesses vast reserves of natural resources that, if fully explored and managed, could transform its economy. From gold and copper in Balochistan to coal in Thar From natural gas fields in Sindh to rich deposits of gemstones in the north, Pakistan holds the potential to become a major supplier of critical materials for the global market. In an era where mineral demand is surging for technology, renewable energy, and infrastructure, these untapped reserves represent a significant opportunity for growth and self-reliance. Agriculture, already a backbone of the economy, is another underutilized asset. Pakistan's fertile plains, fed by the mighty Indus River, can produce not only enough to feed its population, but also surplus for export. With modern farming techniques, irrigation efficiency, and value-added processing, agriculture could shift from being a low-profit sector to a competitive global industry, supplying food to markets that are increasingly struggling with shortages. Yet, perhaps the most valuable resource is not in the soil, but in the people. Pakistan is home to a young, energetic population with the majority under the age of 30. This demographic advantage means a large, dynamic workforce ready to innovate, build, and compete on a global scale. In the digital age, where ideas and skills can be exported faster than goods, this human capital is a potential gold mine. Already, Pakistani talent is making its mark in technology, freelancing, and creative industries, often without the benefit of large-scale investment or infrastructure. The combination of physical resources and human potential creates a powerful equation for transformation. Countries with such a mix have historically risen to prominence by developing industries that merge natural wealth with skilled labor. For example, mineral extraction linked to manufacturing, agriculture tied to global food chains, and technology integrated with traditional sectors could propel Pakistan into a new economic era. The challenge lies in unlocking this potential in a way that benefits the nation as a whole. That means attracting investment without losing control over assets, educating and training the workforce to meet global standards, and building industries that are competitive internationally. With the right vision and leadership, these untapped natural and human resources could be the engine that drives Pakistan toward economic independence, regional influence, and a role as a major player in shaping the future global economy. Pakistan holds a unique position in the Muslim world, not only because it is the second largest Muslim majority country by population, but also because of the diversity and depth of its cultural heritage. This influence is rooted in a blend of South Asian traditions, Islamic history, and connections to the broader Middle East, creating a cultural identity that resonates far beyond its borders. In a globalized world where narratives about the Muslim world are often shaped by external voices, Pakistan has the potential to project its own vision, one that balances tradition with modernity, faith with progress, and local heritage with global values and religiously. Pakistan carries symbolic weight. It is the birthplace of the idea of a homeland for Muslims in South Asia, and it continues to be a focal point for Islamic scholarship, religious debate, and spiritual movements. This influence extends to the Middle East, where shared beliefs, religious institutions, and even military cooperation have strengthened ties over decades. Cultural diplomacy through Islamic unity is a tool that, if used effectively, can help Pakistan shape regional discussions and bridge divides within the Muslim world. Its cultural influence also comes from its people. Millions of Pakistanis live and work in the Middle East, especially in the Gulf countries, contributing to economies, building infrastructure, and sharing cultural values. This diaspora not only strengthens economic links through remittances, but also serves as a living connection between Pakistan and Arab nations. It fosters mutual understanding and ensures that Pakistan remains relevant in the social and economic fabric of the region. Moreover, Pakistan's entertainment, fashion, and culinary traditions have quietly crossed borders, gaining appreciation. In Europe, the Middle East, and beyond, television dramas, music, and art carry messages of resilience, faith, and human connection, often offering a different narrative from what mainstream media portrays. Such soft power, when aligned with strategic foreign policy, can be just as influential as military or economic strength. The connection to the Middle East is not one-sided. Cultural and religious exchanges flow both ways. Shared festivals, religious pilgrimages, and scholarly interactions create a sense of belonging to a larger Islamic civilization. In a time when cultural and ideological divisions are being exploited globally, Pakistan's ability to act as a cultural bridge linking South Asia and the Middle East could give it a significant role in shaping regional identity, solidarity, and the future discourse of the Muslim world. Pakistan's political journey has been marked by turbulence, with frequent changes in leadership, shifting alliances, and periods of uncertainty. These internal challenges have often overshadowed the country's immense strategic and economic potential. Yet, despite such instability, one reality remains constant. The world's major powers continue to keep a close watch on Pakistan, and not merely out of concern, but because of its undeniable strategic value. This constant attention reflects a truth. Instability can slow progress, but it rarely diminishes geopolitical importance. In recent years, Pakistan's role in regional affairs has gained renewed significance. It sits at the heart of major global conversations, from the security situation in Afghanistan to the dynamics of China's Belt and Road Initiative, from the energy needs of the Middle East to trade connectivity with Central Asia. Even during times of political uncertainty, foreign powers see Pakistan as a country whose cooperation can alter the balance of regional and even global outcomes. This reality gives Pakistan diplomatic leverage that many countries with larger economies do not possess. However, the gap between potential and reality is often determined by governance. Political instability can deter investors, slow down development projects, and weaken public trust. This is where Pakistan's leadership faces a choice: to allow instability to define the country's global image, or to use its strategic value as a bargaining chip to attract partnerships, investments, and long-term commitments from allies and even rivals. Countries like Turkey and the UAE have shown that political will and a clear vision can turn a nation's geographic and economic assets into engines of growth, even when surrounded by challenges. The global attention is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it brings opportunities for trade deals, infrastructure funding, and military cooperation. On the other, it increases pressure to align with competing international interests. Pakistan's success will depend on its ability to navigate these pressures while safeguarding its sovereignty and focusing on long-term development goals. By building consistent policies, strengthening institutions, and promoting political stability, it can transform from a reactive player responding to crises into a proactive shaper of regional strategy. So while political instability remains a challenge, it also ensures Pakistan is rarely ignored. This spotlight, if managed wisely, can be redirected towards securing beneficial agreements, enhancing economic ties, and building a narrative that positions Pakistan not as a country defined by its internal struggles, but as a nation valued for its global role and long-term contributions to regional stability and prosperity. When Trump compared Pakistan to the Middle East, he was pointing toward the possibility of an economic transformation similar to the one that reshaped Gulf nations in the last half century. The Middle East, once known primarily for its deserts and scattered trade routes, became a center of wealth and influence after harnessing its oil reserves. That shift changed not only local economies, but also global power structures. For Pakistan, the parallel lies not in oil alone, but in the ability to unlock and channel its resources, location, and talent into a focused strategy for national growth. Pakistan has its own version of untapped energy, from natural gas and coal to hydropower and renewable potential. Combined with its mineral wealth, fertile agricultural lands, and a youthful workforce, the building blocks for an economic leap are already in place. If strategically developed, these resources could allow Pakistan to supply regional and global markets in ways that mirror how Gulf oil transformed trade and industry. The lesson from the Middle East is clear. A resource-rich nation can become a global player when it invests in infrastructure, attracts foreign capital, and builds industries around its natural advantages. However, the Gulf's experience also offers a cautionary tale. Overdependence on a single resource like oil makes economies vulnerable to global price swings and political shifts. For Pakistan to become the next Middle East in economic terms, diversification must be central to its approach. This means not only exporting raw materials, but also building strong manufacturing, technology, and service sectors that can sustain growth even when commodity markets fluctuate. Moreover, the transformation of the Middle East was not just about economics. It was also about perception. Cities like Dubai and Doha became symbols of ambition, modernity, and openness to global business, attracting both investment and tourism. Pakistan, with its mountains, beaches, cultural heritage, and growing tech ecosystem, has the potential to build its own brand as a destination for investment and innovation. The real opportunity lies in blending lessons from the Middle East's rise with Pakistan's unique advantages. By building infrastructure that connects it to global trade, by investing in its people, and by marketing itself as a forward-looking nation, Pakistan could not only achieve economic prosperity, but also shape its image as a stable, influential hub in the region, one whose growth benefits not just itself, but the wider world. Pakistan stands at a rare moment in its history, positioned at the crossroads of geography, resources, culture, and global attention. It holds the strategic location that connects continents, the untapped wealth beneath its soil, the vibrant energy of its people, the cultural influence to inspire millions, and the economic potential to mirror the great transformations of history. But these advantages are not guarantees. They are opportunities that demand vision, unity, and the courage to think beyond short-term gains. The world is watching, and the choices made today will decide whether Pakistan remains a land of potential or becomes a force that shapes the future of its region and beyond. I wish you all the best in your journey to understand, contribute to, and witness this transformation. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your open minds. May the future be as bold and inspiring as the possibilities before us.